Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, July 18. Now this is early morning, right before the RNC convention. Black Panthers stated that they'll be taking advantage of the open carry law by displaying their weapons. Other organizations want to come and show up with their weapons. And we don't want to get off into making this thing a racial issue or a color issue. Because it's not that in today's time. It's a lack of knowledge, lack of information. Like the good book says. Knowledge that was purposely hidden from black people, or that was bits and pieces that were given and hid in different books. Like Brother Robert Muhammad says, you have to connect these dots because they're not going to readily give you this information. You got to dig and search and dig and search. They're not going to tell you that the first university was in Timbuktu, which was in Africa. If you recall in the movie Roots, Kunta wanted to go to college in Timbuktu. Because we always had institutions of higher learning among black people. We had degrees of scholarship in Egypt, which is in Africa. We're talking about a time period before slavery. We're talking about a time period where Europeans went to Africa and witnessed this and wrote these accounts down in books, but wouldn't share it openly to the rest of the human family. You have black Chinese that's been there. Black Japanese that's been there. Go to Cambodia. The statues in Cambodia been there. Sambo was a god in Asia. Knowledge that they readily, purposely kept from the masses of black people in America. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is important. These are some of the facts that needs to be taught to young black men and young black women of who they are. Where did they come from? I mean, the legacy of themselves needs to be taught. Yeah, that's the problem. When you have groups other than that teach black people other than the Christianity that was given to blacks during slavery, they're labeled as a threat. They call that a certain type of ideology that they say is, they want to diagnose it as a mental, or it creates a mental disorder if you believe in these type of teachings. That's where the black professors and the black scholars need to come out and put the facts on the table and show where this actually took place in the period of history. That's the job or the duty of the scholars and the professors today, especially the black scholars and the black professionals. You got to point out who was black in the Bible. Why did they mention Ethiopia? Why did Jesus travel to Egypt and was hid amongst the Egyptians, which were black people? You couldn't hide a different skin tone amongst black people. Abraham had to tell Sarah, look, you very fair. Tell him you my sister and not my wife. Because Abraham was a black man going into Egypt. He could go. But she had to be presented as his sister since she was fair. And it's a message within that too that we can get to at a later date on why Abraham really wanted or didn't want the people to see that Sarah was his wife and why she could get away with being his sister. It's in the book. Teach that proper history. You know? I mean, you can't... Hey, the thing is, if we're in an equal society and you talk about George Washington, you talk about Thomas Jefferson, who had slaves, you mean to tell me you can't talk about John Horse, who tried to free the slaves? It's oxymoron. You can talk to me about Daniel Boone, David Crockett, and there's different accounts of what really took place at the Alamo. But we can't talk about Gaspar Yanga, who fought the Spaniards, the Europeans, and gave Mexico its first free state. Or you don't want to talk about that? You don't want to talk about Vicente Guerrero, the second president of Mexico who was black? You don't want to, I mean, if I know it, I know that the scholars and the professor knows it, the teachers know it. You don't want to talk about the black presidents before George Washington? I know it, the professors know it. You don't want to teach these young black men and young black women about the greats in society that were black? There's a reason behind that, but by you not discussing the truth, what you're doing is you're creating a mindset that can be ruled over. You enabling the people by not giving freely the knowledge and the truth of what's actually going on or what actually took place in time. History is very important. So you can't have a problem and then you say, well, we don't know what to do with all these black people. They running amok in the streets and these gangs and they on drugs and you help create the problem. How did the drugs get into the community? Where did the drugs come from? Black people didn't bring drugs into the community. Or over into this country. We had no part in that. But the solution, now check out the solution. We're going to move jobs out of the black community. We're going to move factories out. We're going to lay black people off. But to replace that money, that monetary value that's needed in a capitalistic society, we're going to replace it with drugs. Some going to make money off drugs as a way to supplement income. Some going to use drugs as a way to escape reality. So in their mind, they killing two birds with one stone. We didn't do that. We wasn't at the table when you set up Jim Crow law. Had nothing to do with black people. But when you on television and talk shows and news reporting, they never mention black codes, Jim Crow, Dixiecrats. All this is what shaped to build the situation that we're in today. But you have to have an open discussion and dialogue on these issues. You can't talk in code words. You have to put it on the table. Night Riders, the Ku Klux Klan. You know, put all that on the table and let's talk, let's deal with it. Talk about it. That's the topic and discussion that needs to be had. So we can see at what points in time that this event occurred that was the cause and effect of this event. That's what we need on the table today. We need the truth and facts based on mathematics and not personal opinions or feelings of belief. I believe that people are not worried about what you believe. We worried about what's solid, what we can prove. Everybody got a belief, you know. So that's where we at today. We want to know facts. We want to talk about the Egyptians, the Phoenicians. We want to talk about the Coptic Christians. We want to talk about the many lives that was lost fighting in each war that America was in. We want to talk about the peace and friendship treaty that the Moors signed with Morocco in America. We want to talk about the Sundry Act, 1790. We want to talk about all of it. And see, all of it has to be put on the table. We want to talk about the slaves that was brought here, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, and Brother Farrakhan also, that came here on a slave ship called Jesus in 1555 by a slave trader by the name of John Hardy Hawkins. We want to talk about these. These facts got to be placed on the table. If you really want to solve the issues of today, you know, you have to educate the people on what's really or what really took place. Talk about how the police force came about through tracking runaway slaves. Talk about that. Talk about the stereotypes that white people have of blacks when they at their Thanksgiving dinners or at dinner tables every night. And then they go out and police black communities with that mindset. See, you talk about the mindset of black liberation, or what they call black revolutionary thinking, and you try to say that that's warped. But you don't say that white supremacy teaching is not warped. You trying to tell me that the idea that you're better than another race because of your skin color, that's not a warped sense of thinking? You mean to tell me that blacks creating civilization, building pyramids by the Nile, is a problem with teaching that? That's not superior, or I don't want to say superior, but that's not an accomplishment within our history? I mean, look, Verbal Pick Radio, I want you to verbally imagine all of this that we're saying today. Until next time, more topics. But study, find out, listen to knowledge, do your math, educate yourself. And I'm out.